Hi everyone and welcome to Sew Your Pet's Wardrobe. I was going to do a cat collar video today, but then someone in the comments said that their sewing machine was still in the box, and so I thought, why on earth would I do a cat collar? Let's start with something super simple, and today's video is super simple because all you will need is a square of fabric, your sewing machine, and your iron. Fabric measurements are in the description below, so let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the corner of my bandana square and I'm just going to bring it across to the opposite corner to create a triangle. Right sides together, and you're just going to press this down with your iron. Don't worry at this point if your sides aren't completely even and you have a little bit of overlap like I do here. We'll sort that out as soon as we've done the sewing. Open up your square and place it right side to the ironing board. And now we're just going to iron our next two sections. Now for this size of bandana, which I'll put again in the description below, I'm going to bring my corner in about 2.5 inches, keeping that ironed line with itself. And once I've found that measurement, I'm just going to take my iron and press this down. Now you want to do this so that the wrong sides are together. Turn it over and we're just going to repeat on the other side. Now like I said, if you are doing a different size bandana, I'll put in the description below the measurements for bringing your corners in so that you can create that nice opening for your collars. We are now ready to move on to the sewing. Deep breath if you haven't done this before, it is very easy, I promise. To sew the bandana, we are just going to sew 3 lines today. We're going to sew one line right down here, another down here, and then we're going to fold it back up again and we're going to sew down here in a V, and then we're just going to turn it out and iron it again, and that is really how simple it is to make this bandana today. For our bandana today, I'm just going to set my stitch length to 3 and I'm going to have a straight stitch for this entire video. For my needle, I have a very lightweight universal needle. Mine is an 80-12. That should be all you need for a simple bandana. And my tension is set to 4. Take your bandana and just place it under your presser foot. Now your presser foot should have guides on it. I'm going to use just the one on the right. It's about 1/8 of an inch or not quite half a centimetre from the edge. Lower your presser foot and make sure that your threads are at the back. And we're going to lock in our stitch, which just means going forwards, then backwards, then forwards to create a locked stitch. And then you're just going to use that guide and sew a straight line the whole way down. Lock your stitch in again at the other side and then cut your threads, and we're just going to repeat the same on the other side. Now grab your scissors and we're just going to cut off the excess threads from where we have stitched down our fabric, and we're going to trim this bit here. This just means that it won't catch on your collar as you put it through. Don't worry about making it neat, it'll be hidden within the bandana. Fold your bandana once more right sides together. And if you are new to this or you just like to make sure everything is sturdy, I would recommend clipping the edges. This just stops them from shifting as you go and sew on your V. If you are used to sewing, as I am, I do tend to just throw it under the machine, but it is completely up to you. I like these clips because it doesn't shift my fabric as much. They're easy just to pop on and take out again as I sew. Just make sure everything is lined up nicely and we are ready to sew. Back to our sewing machine, and we're just going to sew down one side and up the other. Now for this part, my stitch length is still 3, my needle is the same, my tension is still 4, so nothing changes. This time, however, I'm going to line up the raw edge of my fabric with the edge of my presser foot. Make sure your threads are still pushed under the foot and towards the back. And this time when you lock in on your back stitch, try and overlap where the fabric is so that it gives a nice finish. So you want to take your back stitch over the edge. Don't worry if you don't get it first time, it does take a little while. When you approach the corner, what you want to do is you want to hand crank your needle so it is down through the fabric. Just like so. You then want to lift your presser foot and turn your fabric, and this enables you to continue your straight stitch down towards the other end. Lock in your stitch again, and that is all the sewing you need to do. Cut your threads, and at this point, before you do anything else, check that both of the openings are the same size, because it is really easy for one to end up smaller than the other, and you would like to correct that now. If they're the same size or as near as you want, then all you need to do now is cut your threads, and then we'll move on to trimming the excess fabric. Grab your scissors. You can use pinking shears for this as well if you have them, and we're just going to trim, I would say, about 2-3 millimeters away from the thread. If you're a bit nervous that you're going to cut too close, then I would always cut a bit more excess. Take it all the way down, and then we're also going to cut the point, and this just means when we turn it, it's less bulky and it'll give a sharper point at the end. To turn out my bandana, I'm just going to use a crochet hook. You can use anything you want as long as it has a rounded tip to it, because you don't want to puncture through your fabric. I like to insert my index finger right down into the point, and then use that on my thumb, fold that little corner over, and then push that out. And at this point, you want to grab your crochet hook or whatever you're using, and just gently nudge the fabric until it gives you a sharper point as you can get it. Be careful with this because it is really easy to puncture through the fabric and then you're left with a hole. Push the rest of the bit through, and then all that's left to do is iron it and you're done. Now, a trick I've found, instead of flattening it straight away with the iron, because these edges tend to curve in, is you want to take your fabric and just fold it roughly until you get access to the seam. Take the tip of your iron, just the tip of it, and run it along that seam. Now this helps to open it and create a flatter seam, and that just means when you press it completely, it'll create a nicer, sharper edge. And now I'm just going to press the rest of it flat. I like to work from the point up the way. Now if you are using a steam iron, please be careful, it is very easy to burn yourself. And make sure to iron both sides to get a nice clean look. And there you have it. You have just sewn the very first item in our Sew Your Pet's Wardrobe series, the simple slip-on bandana. If you've made it this far in the video, please give it a like, a thumbs up, a subscribe, whatever it is that you do nowadays on these things, and please leave a comment below to let me know how you got on. I'll see you all next time when we tackle the dreaded cat collar.